Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Charlie Nicklin. I'm Chief Executive of IAgrE, and I'd like to thank you all for joining our August presentation. I'd like to welcome Norbert Schlingmann, who is the General Manager of the Agricultural Electronics Foundation, or the AEF for short. Norbert is an electrical engineer who has previously spent nearly 20 years with CLAAS in Germany, where he was latterly head of electronics. The presentation today will focus on cross-manufacturer ISOBUS systems, wireless in-field comms, and also the new Agricultural Interoperability Network Initiative. As usual with our lectures, everybody will be muted, and if you'd like to ask questions, then please pop them in the chat at the bottom of your screen, and at the end of the presentation, we can unmute you and you can ask in person. Okay, I'll now hand over to Norbert.
Yeah, Charlie, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to me to introduce AEF to you. Sarah sent me an email, I guess, a year ago. So therefore, 1 year later, we are here together to talk about AEF, and I have some slides prepared. I will present it in a minute. Give me a sec to share my screen. Let's start developing compatibility and connectivity. That's all about ISOBUS. I don't know who has experience in ISOBUS. I will give you today a short update about the AEF, a little bit about ISOBUS and what's all about. I'm talking about our tools, project and activities, and last but not least, I will give you an update about the Agricultural Data Space Initiative again. That's our major project at the moment, and I'm pretty sure it could be a big interest for you as well. I'm pretty sure some of you remember this kind of tractor cabs with half dozens of terminals. That's a picture out of the late 90s. That's a community in the ag industry together with farmer organizations and others working hard together to reduce all the terminals from 6 to 1 into 1. And they had the idea to create a worldwide standard, the ISO 11783, which is well known at ISOBUS. So nearly 25 years ago, they started this chapter. And today we have different functionalities, different terminals, ECUs, and thousands of machines in the market. So before we dive into that, we have to talk about how is the situation all over the world. The AEF is a worldwide organization founded in 2008. And we have different situations in different countries. So in North America, we have the full liner strategy that farmers have only one brand, John Deere, Case, New Holland, but not that many mixed fleets as we know it in Europe. So, and you see here a picture of the world with a little bit an idea how different the situation is. Let's talk about the AEF first. So as said, AEF was founded 2008 by 8 major agricultural equipment manufacturers and 3 trade associations. We have today more than 230, I'm pretty sure, 290, I'm pretty sure a little bit about 300 member companies, OEMs, suppliers, lots of universities which have an interest. And by the way, the membership is for free. And we are creating, supporting and creating the ISOBUS standard and supporting additional technologies. I will come to that later on. We are structured in 19 different teams and working together with 5 international test labs. Our main goal, our main intention is to define guidelines for the ag industry, focus on tractor implement connection using the ISOBUS, but more and more, we have to take care about data exchange between machines and clouds. The FMS systems, or the former way to transfer data. I know a little bit about floppy disks and PCMCIA cards and USB sticks. That is a little bit the generation out of the last 20 years. Today we are more and more connected, and machines get data, get work task via online services. And we are coordinating activities and development. At the bottom, you see all the 8 major agricultural equipment companies which are have a seat in our steering committee. In addition, we have 3 associations. That's the AEM out of North America. We have Federunternehmen also out of Italy, and VDMA from Frankfurt. So that's our story. That's our vision for digital farming. We created it nearly 4 years ago already, and defined what is our major topic, what is our goal we have to manage. I think you see my mouse here. It's about interoperability between tractor and implement. And these days, more and more cloud systems are available, and we have to take care about it as well, because at the end of the day, the farmer needs data from his machines. He expects that he gets the data seamlessly on his mobile devices or on his platforms. What about autonomous and artificial intelligence, robotics? Autonomous and robotics is a topic. I'll come to that later on. AI, everybody's talking about it. And for us, it's for us as AEF, it's a little bit too early to start initiatives for AI. We know that the industry and universities are already working on that. Everybody knows ChatGPT or other AI tools to make our life easier. If it's always easier, it's up to you to decide. Let's talk about ISOBUS and what's all about. So first of all, the initial idea is still it's a standard interface for machine communication. So ISOBUS equipped tractors can connect ISOBUS equipped implements. Either brand or color, it has to work. That's the philosophy behind. If it's a terminal or an stick or whatever else, it has to work. So the tractor driver is able to operate and implement via his ISOBUS terminal. That's the idea behind. And meanwhile, we have more than 1,200 pages of documents. That's a similar overview about an ISOBUS system. I will not dive into details. I can share the slides afterwards. And if you have more detailed questions about the plugs and how does it work together with the IAF database, please let me know. Please send me an email. That's easier as to dive now into all the connectors. The essential one is the ISOBUS implement connector cable with the special plug. All machines, all tractors and implements equipped with ISOBUS have this ISOBUS connector in the front and the back, and the same with the implements to connect the machines via a CAN bus system. So what about ISOBUS functionalities? And as we started the AEF, we had the difficulties to explain what's all about. We talked about terminologies. We talked about how could we group the functions of the ISOBUS, of the new defined ISOBUS standard. And the AEF decided to group it in different functionalities. We see a terminal here, which we see a joystick. We see a tractor, and we have an implement. So we have we defined or ISOBUS defined an server client system, and we defined functionalities, for example, a terminal, a joystick, or other functions. Here an overview about our existing functionalities. It's an indication what the farmer can do on ISOBUS. So we have an open concept. Tractor and implement both must support the both functionality. Tractor the server and the implement the client. And when it's plugged together, it should work. The basis for the compatibility is the AEF ISOBUS conformance test. We created this test. That was the second reason to define in the AEF, is to generate a test environment, so to guarantee that machines equipped with ISOBUS fulfill the requirements and working on the basis as it is described. The next slide shows how it works. So we have a tractor equipped with a universal terminal with task controller functionalities, and we have an implement which is equipped with the same functionalities, and then it works together. That's the concept behind. We know out of our experience during the last 2 decades nearly, that that's not every time working. We know it's the same with speaking a language. We have different dialects, and the same is with the ISOBUS. So in former days, John Deere spoke another language than CLAAS. And guess what happened? The ISOBUS functionalities didn't work pretty well together. So, and based on the generation or the creation of the conformance test, it was possible to increase, improve the software to have a very good system for the farmers in the market. Here's an example how a universal terminal looks like. It's an offer to the ability to operate and implement at any ISOBUS terminal, I mentioned it, or vice versa, the ability to use one terminal to operate different implements. Both ways are possible. And when you look like how it goes, first of all, if they connect the first time, they exchange a lot of data. They exchange all this data masks. So the function of the operator function often implement, in this case, the sprayer, will be transported to the terminal, and the driver is then able to operate this machine with a tractor's terminal. Yeah, how can we guarantee all this compatibility? What is important? And we decided 15 years ago, and I was in this time head of the service and diagnostic team in AEF. We created the ISOBUS database. Today we have more than 70 OEMs representing their machines. Based on the functionality or the machine type, a user can search. Everybody can get access. The OEMs have a little bit more rights than a normal user, but everybody can see how many machines, for example, CLAAS or John Deere or AECO or the other companies have uploaded. We have integrated the complete certification process within the database. We have to manage, we can organize and manage the data. We have a public key infrastructure for the tractor implement management functionality integrated, come to that later on. And we have integrated an online task data validator, and mobile application is available as well. Also, sorry, it's 106 companies are already listed with their products. Here, a screen, how it looks like when I compare start a compatibility check between a John Deere tractor and a Fendt sprayer. You see here this blue or this boxes, and the blue boxes on both sides shows the compatibility. So we have a task controller functionality, section control, geo and basic available on both machines. So compatibility is given. We see here a white box with a blue square around. They are not completely in line with the functionality. UT is equal. We have both sides universal terminal functionality. Sorry for all these abbreviations. It is difficult to follow, I guess, not knowing what UT, what aux old, aux new is. Sorry for that. That is a terminology we use to explain and to show which kind of functionalities is on a machine. For tractor implement management, Tim, we have the possibility to go in details what kind of functions, what kind of variables are available. So we see here which functionality type it is, with generation, with authentication version, and some additional functions. Here the tractor is supporting PTO disengagement and PTO engagement counterclockwise. That is a special function. In this case, the tractor supports, and if the implement, in this case it's the fence sprayer, supports this function as well, the sprayer can operate the tractor without the driver is doing something. To Tim, I come later on. Another view, again with Tim, because this is one of our intensive functionalities we have. We see here a difference between the Tim server and the Tim client, what is supporting. And as I said before, if the two functions of the Tim server are not supported by the Tim client, it can't. There is no compatibility possible. So in this case, we see a value for sales guys or for a farmer to look, okay, which kind of sprayer or which kind of tractor I need to make this functionality to a success, and that I can work, that both machines can work together. It's only one example. I mentioned already the conformance testing. We designed conformance testing to ensure compatibility between ISOBUS products from different brands, from different OEMs. We connected system under test is validated with ISO 11783 compliance, and we are working with test labs out of Italy, Germany, North America, and France. 5 independent AEF recognized test labs, and we are really surprised that other countries send submissions to become a test lab as well. We have 2 universities and companies who have a big interest to become a test lab. Canada and South America and Asia are highly interested in doing that. How we guarantee, how we work together, what is our main networking event? We have 2 of them, one in North America in spring and one in Europe. We name it Plugfest. That is test that's done, what the guys are doing during Plugfest, test new and existing functionalities in a kind of test matrix. It's kind of networking event, up to 80, 90 test stations in 3,000 tests in a 30-minute slot over 3 days. That's what the guys are doing. They're starting at 8 o'clock in the morning and end up at 6 o'clock, the 3 days. And they go around. The terminals have a fixed station, a fixed table, and the implements have to go around and connect to the different terminals. Why it is so important? We would like to guarantee compatibility. And in early development stages, you know that, how difficult it is to start a new development. And in early development stages, the engineers from the different companies would like to test their software. New functions, new ECUs, new terminal concepts. We have seen everything during a 3-day Plugfest. And last year in Bologna, we had more than 350 participants, and the next one will be in Germany in 4 weeks' time. We expect the same numbers of participants. Here only an expression how it went last year. in Bologna. You see a big hall with lots of tables and people are talking and networking. This is essential to take care about the different ideas, take care about different functionalities, talking to each other. And we know all of them are competitors. The companies are fighting in the market against the best machine, the best price, whatever else. And here, engineers from the same companies working close together, going in one direction. What kind of projects and activities we started? And I have only a few of them prepared for you. First of all, I would like to start talking about the AEF organization, how we are organized. We have experts from different member companies who supports in projects. That's on voluntary basis. We are collaborate to find solutions for the whole industry, and solutions are ended up in guidelines or maybe sometimes in ISO standards. That's what we are working on. And I would like to explain here how we organize. We have expert teams who are taking care about nearly all functions. Communication and marketing are responsible for all the projects. We have security, and very important topic. We have to guarantee that our solutions are secure. Sure, the companies are doing their own security measures. They have to. There are lots of regulations which are behind. Same for functional safety. And service and agnostic conformance tests and database, for example, that are groups taking care of other projects. The red mark projects, I have some examples for you, because they are the essential ones at the moment from our point of view, and where we see a big engagement from the companies. Let us start with tractor implement management. I don't know if you have heard about it. This is a standardized, certified, and secure communication model based on ISOBUS. We created for that a public key infrastructure, so a trust anchor for an exchange of data. If these certificates are not available, either in an implement or in a tractor, the system can't work. So, easy spoken, tractor implement management, what is behind the implement steers the tractor. PTOs, speed, driving, that are some of the functions, especially for balers. Nearly all baler companies, baler companies have integrate tractor implement management in their balers, because when you're on the field 10 hours driving a tractor with a baler, it's a whole day the same process. And we decided to start using this functionality with a baler or with a sprayer or with others to reduce the concentration for a tractor driver. After 5, 6, 7 hours, normally a driver is done for a day, but with this system he can go longer. Sure, it's at the end he has to sit down on the driver's seat of a tractor, but the process will be managed by the implement.
This is Paul.
I have a
Paul is a
picture for you. This is very small. Maybe I can show it later on to you, so that you can get an impression how Tim is working. Let's come to wireless in-field communication. What is our motivation, and what are the use cases? So first of all, this is a standardized direct machine-to-machine communication between equipment from different OEMs. It creates a high-value opportunity for customer worldwide, and we are working on enhancing efficiency, quality, and safety, even in rural areas. Why it is so important? Because we have chosen a system where we do not need an infrastructure. So both transmitter and sender are on a machine. It's one equipment. We have technologies available for fields in an area of maybe what is it, 2 or 3 acres. So that makes it so interesting for this kind of combinations. Potential use cases are process data exchange, cooperative machines, camera and remote terminal, and road safety. Road safety is a very important topic. We are working for that, I think, for 4 years already, creating systems to make sure that accidents on streets between cars and tractors will be decreased because we have really heavy accidents we had really heavy accidents in Germany and in other parts of Europe, and we got the question, what can we do to reduce it? And there is a system available that a tractor warns cars on the street that a slow moving vehicle is in front or behind. And this is a system VW, for example, integrated in 1.2 or 1.5 million cars already. This is a state-of-the-art development. So therefore, we are working on that system and plan to launch it in the next couple of years. The next generation of ISOBUS, what that? It's high-speed ISOBUS. It's not that simple, but it's necessary. And we started an alignment 4 years ago with construction, with earth moving, with mining, with forestry, building construction, and truck and trailer in a so-called ISO Joint Working Group 16. This will be led by the construction guys with a co-lead out of agriculture. And we have we put our experts from our industry together with the other industries. It's a worldwide initiative. ISO is steering that, and we are really happy to announce that we have already defined the plugs. We have defined middleware, and during AGTechnica, the AEF will demonstrate high-speed ISOBUS on our booth. What are some of the key facts? First of all, we are 4,000 times faster in comparison to the existing solution, the existing CAN-based solution. The system is based on Ethernet as a switched network. And I said an ISO is leading that. It's ISO 23870. That is the new high-speed ISOBUS or high-speed interconnect standard. That's the official name. And all the industry groups are standing behind. Sure, we are not ready, but we know that we need a better connection, a faster connection between implement and tractors. Imagine how big camera pictures, camera images, and camera pictures are, and it's needed that a tractor driver gets information on the terminal from backside cameras or other positions of an implement. And today we have dozens of different camera solutions in the market, and as a farmer needs one system or with one connector, and not 5 different systems with 5 different connectors. And that's a reason, and that's our motivation to move forward into one direction. It's for us an easy access for the farmer and necessity to move on. Last but not least, I have to talk about autonomy in ag. We started a little bit more than 1 year ago with a complete new project team taking care about autonomy in ag. Sure, everybody is talking about autonomy, autonomous machines, robotics, and what can we do with such machines. Yeah, but we have to take care about not to reinvent the wheel, not to define new standards, because we have lots of existing standards which can be reused or could be used. So our mission is to give an answer to the challenges of autonomous machines with standards and technologies for interoperability and ease of use between products and different brands, and creates and documents the necessary architecture. As I said, it's not the goal to reinvent the wheel. It's a goal to align the necessary content adaptations of existing standards, and then to create a high-level autonomy roadmap in collaboration with the existing AEF teams. That's an ongoing task now, and we expect to see the first draft of this autonomy roadmap end of this year. What about, again, or the data space for agricultural data sharing? What's all about? And before we dive into details, I would like to play a short 1 or 1.5 minute movie. I hope you can see it. That was the Agricultural Interoperability Network in short. But what's all about? What situation do we have today? We have different OEMs which have different clouds. See the green ones, we have the red one, we have data hubs, we have services, we have FMS. And all of them would like to exchange data. And be sure, to exchange data between the green OEM and the red OEM is not possible. Maybe with a special contract between the two of them. That's not our goal. Our goal is to create a complete, no, this is the wrong one, sorry, I was too fast. We have today really difficulties to exchange data between the different services. Essential at the end of the day is what is important for the farmer. A farmer in Europe, I mentioned it at the beginning, has different machines from different brands, multicolored brands on his farm. And he would like to have data from all his machines. Today, he has to decide which kind of system he would like to buy. Is it a DIA system or a CLAAS system? Is it an ecosystem to manage the machines? But with these systems, he can't get data for all his machines. And that's a big challenge. We started to think about nearly 3 years ago to create a system that a farmer get data from all his machines. And that's what's all about. We create this environment. We name it Agricultural Interoperability Network. On a peer-to-peer network, and we guarantee that companies can exchange data based on use cases, and only based on use cases. There are no personal data no other data available. We have to define first the use case, and then the farmer is able to exchange, to get all the data from the different platforms. That's what's behind the agricultural interoperability network. Which use cases we have in mind? First of all, the machine tracking use case. This use case is in a preparation for Agritechnica. I have seen this morning the first visuals for that. We have more than 15 companies, 15 OEMs working very close together with us, and they integrate this system in their cloud solutions. They see beneficial, they see that this solution is beneficial for them as well. So therefore, the industry is united in this network. The next use cases are online task management, the work order or the work record and documentation tasks, which will be available via this network. So we have a list of 7 or 8 use cases at the moment, and step by step we plan to integrate them. Why is it so important that AEF is taking care about? Because we are an independent organization. We are an industry organization, and we as AEF have already an infrastructure as an anchor of trust and enabler. We have a conformance test, we have a database, we have developed the public key infrastructure, and we will use this. We will reuse this this infrastructure for the agricultural interoperability network as well. What are our benefits? Again, will be a scalable data space for agriculture. I'm not sure if you have heard about CLAAS. CLAAS is a common European agricultural data space. It is an EU project with 36 partners in all of Europe to define a data space for agriculture. We from AEF, we are only a small part. We have only a small part to generate an interface between CLAAS and AEF. That's our part. There will be an open API developed for CLAAS. And end user controls account based on a peer-to-peer data exchange network. That's what we are doing in AEF. And it's not a central data transfer needed. It's an individual data transfer between the involved clouds. AEF is only defined the infrastructure as enabler. We are developing one legal framework. It's an industry-wide trust anchor. We developed and enriched by AEF simulators and conformance test, and we are defining common software modules like a common connector, which has to be integrated within the different clouds to guarantee that the data transfer will be done on the same way. And it's we are working on a global approach. No regional restrictions. We know that's sometimes difficult. We are talking about not only about Europe, we are talking about North America. So Canada and the US, there are differences, and we are working on global use cases. So use cases which have a big interest for the whole industry. An outlook on our roadmap. I said we are started to develop the common connector software beginning of this year. We have a big showcase planned on Agritechnica, not on our booth, and some of the other booths of our member companies. And next year in March, we plan a stage release and production release next year in September. If you're interested to learn more about it, we have created a landing page on our website with lots of information how AEF is working, and how we see the operation with this system. Yeah, Finally, a summary of AEF is a scalable data space for agriculture, simplify and improve data exchange to enhance on interoperability. That's always the same. We got so many questions. What can you do as AEF to improve interoperability? And that's our answer, one of our answers. And AEF is not a new platform. That is a statement we guarantee, because we are not seeing what the companies, what kind of data the companies exchanging. The AEF infrastructure is the enabler. We are working together with the US organization, AEF, to generate a global approach, and we plan a showcase demonstration during Agritechnica in Hanover this year in November. Let me give a short summary. The AEF, as an ag industry organization, works on ISOBUS and interoperability to guarantee compatibility between machines, tractors, and implements, and as well to enhance cloud connection to improve the use cases for farmers. AEF ISOBUS database and conformance test basement for the compatibility. We are working on a regular basis on new technologies to meet industry requirements. That is important and needed. All existing solutions will benefit independently of color and the platform. We see a unique cooperation with industry competitors as a requirement, and we do all to manage it. The standard we develop must be freely available and independent from any commercial interest. Finally, we organizing our European Plugfest between September 8th and 12th in Hasewinkel in Germany. So it's nearby the CLAAS factory. There's a big hotel where we meet. That's a possibility to see and meet experts and engineers and do networking. That's all about what we're doing. Not only testing, networking is one of the key factors, key success factors of that event. Now I'm coming to the end of my presentation. Looking forward to hear your questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Norbert. There's a few questions. First questions from Mike. Do you want to unmute yourself, Mike?
Good afternoon, Norbert. Very interesting presentation, and great to get some understanding, particularly people who myself don't use it every day. So your first slide showed a picture which you referred to from quite a few years ago with the multiple screens in the cab. Quite often, tractor drivers like social media, they'll put pictures on, and their current pictures will also show many screens in the cab. So is that down to the manufacturers promoting their in-screen cabs, drivers just wanting to have lots of pictures in the cab and information, direct access? You know, are we getting the best out of both? And are we fully exploiting all we can from ISOBUS?
I don't know if I understood you right. So this pictures with the 6 screens. That is an example. That's only an example, and bad example. Today we see 1, maximum 2 terminals on the tractors. I know the new machines from Fendt, John Deere, and CLAAS, they have two terminals, multifunctional terminals with touch screens, and so you can work on them on an easy way. So and on this inside terminals you can operate your implements. Or if a tractor, we have thousands of legacy tractors in the market with no terminals, and we have so many retrofit solutions available. You can buy an ISOBUS terminal, from different companies. There are lots of them available, and they are happy to sell them, and can put it on a machine, on a legacy machine, an older one with no terminal. It's available, and to be honest, we have only a lower percentage of machines equipped with really the high amount of technologies here. In future we will have more, sure. The idea is and was and is to reduce the number of terminals in a cab.
Thanks very much. Just to correct, and apologies if I didn't explain. My interpretation from looking at his images is these are screens for the implement. You know, these are so it is very much the implement manufacturer, not the tractor manufacturer. You know, so it's quite often, certainly with precision. So where you've got potato planting and a lot of activities going on with chemical addition, fertilizer, and those type of things. So, but no, interesting comments, and thanks for your response.
Welcome.
Do you want to carry on with your second question, Mike?
Yeah, the second one really was just obviously as we move towards this new world with driverless vehicles on the highway, and obviously the automobile industry is moving at a fast pace. Talk of driverless taxis in the UK later on this year. So how does all that interact with AEF and you know your plans, etc.?
Yeah, thank you for this question. When we are talking about autonomous driving, autonomous machines, we are talking about machines driving only on fields. We are not tackling driverless tractors on streets. I personally can imagine that this will take place in the next 10, 15 years. I don't think that will happen. Driverless in the field, yes, that's our intention, but not on streets.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, the next question's from myself. I'm very familiar with ISOBUS and been around it since the AEF started. My concern really is the work of the AEF visible enough with a lot of the new entrants that are coming into the industry? And when I say new entrants, I mean those that are coming from an agri-tech perspective. So I don't mean the traditional OEMs, the machinery manufacturers that we know today, but these are new startup companies that are coming in from a sort of digital side into agriculture. Are they aware of the work that AEF does? Because I see a lot of comments in that area where communication systems don't work very well, things don't talk to each other, you can't share software, and it all seems to be happening in this sort of new agri-tech world. And I'm just wondering if the two are not talking enough and are not close enough with each other.
To give you a clear answer, no. That's my experience as well. Independently in where I am, there's new ag tech companies, people who are new in this area have not the experience with AEF and with ISOBUS, because it's a complete new technology what we are talking about. When we are talking about again and the cloud-based peer-to-peer network, it's a complete new technology, and everything is lots of people are working in that direction, and they have not a clue on what is really available and why it is so important to connect machines with these new technologies. And therefore, I'm very thankful for you for this question. I was in the US for 2 weeks' time on a conference, and I had exactly the same impression. There are a lot of startups, a lot of new companies taking care about farm management software, taking care about organizing a farm, taking care about exchange of data. They have no clue what AEF is doing and from whom they get the data. They are thinking in APIs. We have to add APIs to everything, but APIs is not a solution. It is one solution, but not when I look into the possibilities we have with data spaces, either again or others. there's much more we have to take care about. And I would love to be more engaged in this discussion, to explain what we are doing and why it is so important to come together to exchange thoughts. Um, um, this is my personal opinion, and in 2 weeks, in 4 weeks time, I'm in London on the World, what is it, AGRI World Summit.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, in the summit, and we have a panel discussion about the future ways how things have to be organized, and but we shouldn't forget existing machines, because there are thousands and hundreds thousands of machines equipped with ISOBUS in the market, and they are not well equipped with all the technology we are talking about here. And so, but these farmers would like to use their data of these machines as well. So we have to find a way to deal with that all together.
Yeah, there are lots of discussions that seem to be taking place on the low adoption of agri-tech, whatever you decide agri-tech is. But to me, agri-tech is agricultural technology. It's machines, it's software, it's whatever. And there's a lot of discussion about the lack of adoption. And it seems very clear to me, being in both worlds, is that there is a lot of reinventing of wheels going on in this brave new agri-tech world. And I don't think people are talking to each other enough and looking at existing systems enough. And
that costs the industry and the people working on it really, really a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so we are really willing to step in and discuss our ideas and our tools and solutions. I will not say this is everything everybody needs. No, we need to find ways to deal with that. You're completely.
I think the thing that's very clear to me is that farmers are not systems integrators.
No.
And we can't keep forcing these software systems and technology onto farmers without doing the systems integration first.
Exactly.
There's not enough seamless operation between things, and it's not just the ISOBUS element tractor machinery thing. I think he's been well sorted and everything works pretty good together. It's all this other stuff that's coming on. It's the farm management software. It's the agronomy stuff. It's the yield data maps. It's the spray maps. It's all that stuff flowing backwards and forwards, and that's what AGIN is all about, I guess. Yeah.
But again, is not a solution for everything. So this is a solution we have in mind to exchange data. And the ag industry, what we are doing is only one silo, one very simple, one module, I will say. We have, you said it, you mentioned it. We have the sprayers, we have the fertilizers, we have the all the stuff we have to take care about the transport mechanism. We have to everything, and we are only a small piece. Within our piece, within our area in piece, we have our solution. And and that's the reason why we are engaged in the European common European agricultural data space. We need to generate an interface, and this folks are working on an huge model, a huge data space, exchanging data between different silos, different parts of ag, and we can participate. I'm very thankful to that. We can learn how others are doing that, and we can add our ideas and our experiences in that. And we know that we are not bad in this, what we did so far. But anyhow, it's all about working together, exchange information to reinvent the wheel, because that saves at the end money. That's what we learned as we started with ISOBUS. And Mike, you mentioned it. You asked about the terminals. Every company developed their own UT server and universal terminal server and client software. I don't know how many millions they have spent in that instead of doing it one time. That's what we did with structure implement management. We developed an software code, a security and software code, a security library for structure implement management, and everybody integrated it in their software. And sure, they had their integration cost, but we paid once, and everybody participated. And that's only one example. I know we're at the beginning, and Charlie, I like your question. How are we working together? And I would really love to step into that discussion to exchange more with these people, because with the agricultural engineers, we have the agricultural engineers not only in the UK, we have it all over the world, and they are active. And experience I made 3 or 4 years ago in the EU project AGRE. I sat together in a panel or in an event. We talked. The same situation. We have all this new robotic guys taking care about this fancy new machines, and they had no clue that there are a lot of standards already available. That was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and so I had the same impression. And today, these days, I have the same impression with this new technologies we are talking about. So as AEF, we are completely open for that, and we would love to exchange more often in this regard.
Great. Yep, thank you. We've got time for one last question. Hugh, do you want to ask your question?
Well, just to pick up on the previous discussion, I don't consider myself a new entrant. I've been in the field of control and data capture for 45 years. And I'm very aware of the tractor to implement interconnection and interoperability issue. I started discussing that in the early 80s with the Agricultural Computing and Electronics Group that the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Food set up with their ADAS people. And I'm encouraged is the word I'd use to hear that Norbert is claiming that if I plug my blue machine into a green tractor, it will now work fully. I suspect it won't work quite as fully as if I plugged my green implement into a green tractor, but I understand, I understand the sort of commercial implication, but I've been trying to encourage collaboration with respect to data use for the entire time that we've been in the marketplace. But I'm not aware of where AEF has got to, and again is slightly news to me, although I'm hoping it's the latest iteration of initiatives which have been commenced. My point basically is that it's still only about tractors and implements, whereas of course Charlie's question was definitely flagging up the fact that there's a world of data use, and I know, Norbert, that you went on to say that you're only a small part of it. But my specific question is, is AEF taking any role in the responsible use of all this data that we're trying to facilitate the exchange of? And I'm involved in a thing called Farm Data Principles Limited, and that's all about trying to assure or reassure farmers that all of us techies, whether we're equipment manufacturers or we're software writers or we're process control engineers, whatever it is we're doing, which inevitably is generating gobbets of data, that we're dealing and using and handling all that data responsibly. And one of the first principles is, that the raw data belongs to the farmer. And I just wonder whether that's the same attitude or the same principle which is within AEF.
Yes. So the real story behind AGIN is we are not exchanging data. AEF is completely out of this boat. We define use case like the machine tracking use case. There are, 10, 15 data which will be exchanged. And the data exchange is between cloud A and cloud B, the green cloud and the red cloud. And we, as AEF defines the infrastructure, that they are able to do this. The data will not transported via AEF. There's a direct connection, peer-to-peer connection between the green cloud and the red cloud. Imagine you as a farmer, you have a green machine, you have a green tractor, you have a red tractor, you have a blue sprayer, and a yellow. What is it? Yellow is the case. Anyhow. So, and you have a farm management system from the green ones. But you as a farmer would like to get the information from the blue, from the red, from the yellow, and from the blue machine as well. With again, it's possible because you as a farmer request the data to your green platform, and the green platform requests the data to the red ones, the blue and the blue and the yellow ones. That's the idea behind. So there's a direct communication between the clouds based on this use case, and all four parties have to provide the right information. There's a conformance test for the use case behind, and each company has to prove that they can transfer and transport the right data. And so we're only responsible for the infrastructure and not for the transport of the data, and they will not be transmitted via our system. This is direct communication between the clouds. This is what our common connector is doing. If you're interested in that, we can set up a call with our guys. So this is an offer I can do. I have a colleague. She is responsible for the development of AEF in AEF, and we have a project team behind. So if some of you are interest in that development, feel free to send me an email, and we manage a dedicated online meeting, maybe 1 hour, to explain what's in detail behind, to really explain the idea and the idea of AEF. It's not transporting the data via AEF. We are completely out of the game. We are only responsible to set up the network and guarantee that the parties involved fulfill requirements to exchange the data. That's it.
Okay.
That's very essential. That's very important and essential for us.
Okay. Well, we're just over the hour now, so I better wrap things up. So thank you, Norbert. Brilliant presentation, really interesting. There's lots of further discussion we could have on that, certainly. So thanks for everybody for joining. I hope you'll join us for our next lecture on the 9th of September, where we'll be joined again by Paul Mabwazi, who presented to us 2 years ago on solar energy and how it interacts with agricultural cropping. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.